Hello everyone, welcome back to Make Your Dream with Katia. In this lesson, we are going to create a complex industrial part, step by step, using CATIA V5 Part Design. We will learn how to use powerful tools like shell, hole, pattern, and symmetry. So let's start this interesting exercise together.
I was dreaming in my sleep, now wide awake. With CATIA by my side, there's no mistake. Always had a wish to create and design. Now I'm building futures one line at a time. Could sketch a ship or design a plane. With CATIA, every dream I can sustain. Stay with me, I'll show you how it's done. Our journey to the stars has just begun. Dreams with CATIA come alive, stay tuned. In a world of possibilities, our talents bloomed. From the sketch pad to reality, watch us soar. With every click and curve, we crave for more. From the smallest bolt to towering steel, with CATIA, our thoughts become real. Together we'll create wonders to see in this world of design.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to draw this part. As usual, let's look at the part first. As you can see, this part is a pipe cross. The center part is vertical. This part is shown from both sides in sections AA and BB. The flange edge has an oval shape. The bottom part is fully rounded on one side and almost rectangular on the other side. This is the most important part of this model. Now I will show you the horizontal and vertical axes with the mouse. Their intersection will be the coordinate origin. The first part that I will draw is this vertical body. Look, I can use the top view and draw it in a sketch. Then I can extrude the sketch downward with the pad tool. First, I will do this. The shape is finished. Look at the bottom of the shape. I need to make this part round. I will use the fillet tool first. I will set the fillet value to 36 millimeters. I look at the model from both sides and compare it with the drawing. The model is different from the drawing. I go back. I enter the sketcher workbench on the YZ plane. I draw a sketch with the correct shape. I return to the part design workbench. I remove it from the first solid with the pocket tool. Again, I look at it from different directions. I see that it is not the same as the drawing. Now I look at section BB and the 3D model. I draw this section in a sketch. I enter the sketcher workbench on the YZ plane. I draw the shape with the profile tool. I add the dimensions and fully constrain the sketch. I return to the part design workbench. I use the pad tool and extrude it 36 millimeters in both directions. I look at it from both sides. Now the bottom part is almost correct, but In the top view, you can see that we have a rectangle. I look at the drawing carefully. I need to add fillets on the side faces. The fillet value is 18 millimeters. I activate the fillet tool. I set the fillet value to 18 millimeters. Keep the propagation option on tangency. I select the circular edge. I click OK. Now the fillet is created. I do the same thing on the other side. Now look at the section AA in the drawing. The part is hollow. The bottom and side wall thickness is 10 millimeters. If you notice, the top face of the part is tangent to the plane that is 88 millimeters above the XY plane. Pay attention to the 26 millimeter dimension in the drawing. So the top wall of the part must be 26 millimeters thick. I activate the shell command. In default thickness, I enter 10 millimeters for inside. In other thickness, I click the box in front of face. I select the top face of the part. In the box below, I enter 26 millimeters. I click OK. Now the inside of the part is empty. I check it with the dynamic sectioning tool. Now I enter the sketcher workbench on the top face of the part. I want to draw the flange edge. I draw an elongated hole. Its radius is 60 millimeters. I make its center line coincident with the vertical axis. I make the two center points the same distance from the horizontal axis. The distance between the two center points is 36 millimeters. Now I return to the part design workbench. I extrude the sketch downward with the pad tool. The pad length is 16 millimeters. Now I create the top slot hole. I enter the sketcher workbench on the top face of the part. I draw a sketch with the elongated hole tool. Its radius is 20 millimeters. I make its center line coincident with the vertical axis. The distance between its two center points is 36 millimeters. I return to the part design workbench. I remove it downward 26 mm with the pocket tool. I look at it from top. I compare it with the top view of the drawing. Now I need to add fillets to the two inner edges where the two holes meet. The fillet value is 10 mm. Pay attention to which edge I select here. If you select the wrong edge, you will have a problem. First, I change the display mode of the part. In this mode, I can see the inner edges. I activate the fillet command. In the Object to Fillet box, I select the correct edge. Look, here we have two edges on one face. I select the other edge. I set the propagation option to minimal. I click OK. The fillet is created. I do the same thing on the opposite edge. I check the model from two directions with the dynamic sectioning tool. I compare the sections with my model. Now the model matches the 3D section view. From the other direction, it also matches the section AA. Pay attention to the rounded inner corners. Now I will draw the two opposite horizontal pipes and their flanges. First, I draw the left pipe and its flange. Look, the total length is 57 mm. The wall thickness is 10 mm. The flange thickness including the raised end is 20 mm. So the pipe length is 27 mm. I enter the sketcher workbench on the face of the part. I draw a circle at the coordinate origin. The circle diameter is 60 mm. Just pay attention that the bottom of the circle is on the fillet. So when I create the path, I also extend it a little into the body from the other side. I return to the Part Design workbench. I activate the Path tool. In first limit, I enter 27 mm. In second limit, I enter 7 mm. I click OK. The cylinder is created. Now I enter the sketcher workbench on its outer face. I draw a circle at the coordinate origin with a diameter of 146 millimeters. I return to the part design workbench. I extruded 16 millimeters with the pad command. I enter the sketcher workbench on the outer face of the cylinder. I draw another circle at the coordinate origin. The circle diameter is 80 millimeters. I return to the part design workbench and extruded 4 millimeters. Now I hold the Shift key and select the 3 pads. I use the Symmetry command to mirror them about the YZ plane. Now I want to draw the last connection. If you look carefully, the axis of the cylinder is above the horizontal axis. The distance from this axis to the top face of the part is 66 millimeters. Here I want to draw the flange edge first. The distance from the outer edge of the flange to the coordinate origin is 116 millimeters. So first I create a plane 116 millimeters away from the ZX plane. I enter the sketcher workbench on this plane. I draw a circle. The circle diameter is 130 millimeters. The center of the circle is on the vertical axis. The distance from the center of the circle to the top edge of the part is 66 millimeters. I return to the part design workbench and extruded 16 millimeters. I return to the sketcher workbench on its inner face. I set the view direction correctly by using the normal view tool. I draw a circle. Its diameter is 50 millimeters. The circle is concentric with the first cylinder. I return to the part design workbench. I use the pad tool and extend it up to the part surface. In the type section, I select up to surface. I click on the bottom curve of the part. The shape is created. Now I create the holes. I use the hole command. The first hole has a diameter of 40 millimeters and the second hole has a diameter of 42 millimeters. Now look at the last flange that I created. Its top and bottom edges are cut. I enter the sketcher workbench on the flange surface. I draw a central rectangle. The distance between its bottom and top edges is 80 mm. I make this rectangle concentric with the flange circle. The vertical edges of the rectangle must extend outside the flange circle. I return to the part design workbench. I remove the sketch from the cylinder with the pocket command. Now I need to correct the pocket. I double click on it in the specification tree. I rotate the model a little. I set the direction of the vertical arrow outward. I click OK. Now the shape is correct. Now I create the holes on the flanges. I start the vertical flange. I want to use the pattern tools. If you look at the model, there are 6 holes on the flange. 3 holes are on one side and the other 3 are symmetrical on the other side. First, I create the hole that is on the axis. I activate the hole command. Now the shown dimensions are not suitable and the hole position is also incorrect. First, I adjust the parameters. Then I click on the positioned sketch button. I move to the sketcher workbench. Now the center of the hole is shown as a point. I position this point. The point is on the YZ plane and it is 65 mm away from the ZX plane. I return to the part design workbench. I click OK. The first hole is created. Now the next 2 holes are located at an angle of 75 degrees on both sides of this hole. To use the circular pattern, we need an axis, so I need to create an axis. First, I create a point 18 mm away from the coordinate origin on the y-axis. Then I create a line passing through this point in the z direction. Now I activate the pattern command. The duplication mode is already correct. The number of instances must be 2. I set the angle to 75 degrees. In the reference elements section, I select the line. I click inside the object box to make it blue. I click on the hole in the specification tree. The name of this hole appears in the box in front of object. I click OK. The hole is created. I activate the command again. All settings are the same. I only set the angle value to -75 degrees. Now I want to mirror these three holes together with respect to the ZX plane. Pay attention, the two created holes are now a pattern feature. First, I activate the Symmetry command. I select the ZX plane as the Symmetry element. I hold the Ctrl key. First, I click on the hole. Then I click on the pattern. By selecting the first pattern, we receive an error message. The message says that the pattern cannot be transferred. Now what can we do? I right-click on the pattern. From the opened menu, I go to the last option. Another menu appears. I click on the Explode command. You can see that the pattern is removed and the name of a hole appears instead. I do the same thing with the second pattern. Now I activate the Symmetry command. The Symmetry element is the ZX plane. I select all three holes from the specification tree by using the Ctrl key. I click OK. Three holes are created on the other side. Now I want to create the holes on the horizontal flanges. The hole diameter is 16 mm. I activate the hole command. I click on the positioned sketch button. I move to the sketcher workbench. I position the hole. The hole is located on a circle with a diameter of 110 mm. I exit the sketcher workbench. I click OK. The hole is created. I activate the circular pattern command. In the parameters section, I set the duplication mode to complete crown. The number of holes is 6. I click inside the object box to make it blue. In the specification tree, I click on hole 6. I click inside the reference element box. I click on the inner cylindrical face of the flange hole or on the side face of the flange. The preview of the holes is shown. I click OK. I click on the Symmetry tool. The YZ plane is the Symmetry element. I click inside the Object to Mirror box. I click on hole 6. Pay attention, I cannot select pattern tree together with it. I click OK. The hole is created. Look, hole 6 is recorded in the specification tree with the name mirror. Now in the specification tree, I right click on mirror. I explode it. The name mirror is removed and the name hole replaces it. I activate the pattern tool. I set the parameters like before. In the reference elements section, I click on the inner face of the hole. I click OK. The pattern is created. Creating the holes on the last flange is your task. Now I create the fillets. Pay attention, the drawing says that wherever the fillet value is not shown on the part, the value is 5 mm. Very good. Today's lesson finishes here. I hope you enjoyed this exercise. I tried to use different methods to create similar parts. See you in the next exercise. Goodbye.
Let's build the future. Come with me. Don't